get enough sleep, practice sleep hygiene. And I was like, that everybody should be doing
I
that.
was
You
gonna
don't need
say
to
that's
know your
basics.
genes
Yeah.
in order for those things. And I talk about all that stuff in my book. I have a chapter that's just like, whether you know your genes or not, these are things that benefit every single human being.
Hmm.
And it's just, get sunshine and make sure you're out, outside in nature sometimes, and make sure you get enough sleep, and, these kind of things. So either they're really generic, or they're very contradictory, or they just, I know some of them you have to go and do your own research, but most of them are just very limited. They're not looking at entire pathways. So
Yeah.
they're looking at clinically validated. So there's actually a ClinBAR database, clinical variants, which have studies behind them. They're clinically validated studies regarding this particular SNP on this particular gene. But then they might have only done studies on 3 SNPs for a gene when there could literally be dozens of them. And so the software that I use incorporates those dozens that are not clinically validated. They separate them out between the clinically validated and the non-clinically validated. So you can use those to take into consideration, because just because it doesn't have the studies behind it doesn't mean it's not impactful. So I really think that the software that I use looks at far more genes in a more comprehensive way.
Yeah, absolutely. When I got my report back from Ben Lynch, it was so overwhelming. It was like 50 pages of stuff. And obviously they have like support documents and a Facebook group that you can go in. And even with all my knowledge, I was like, yeah, no, not like I already knew what I needed to do anyway. So I wasn't like seeking information, but even for me, I can understand how overwhelming it is. And this is why it's so valuable that if you're interested in this, if you feel like you've done everything under the sun and you're still not getting the results that you want, this is a great way to find those missing holes in a very scientific way, right? This is data.
Absolutely. Yeah. And also it can, even if you were doing all the right things, and say you took a supplement like glutathione and you felt horrible or had
Mm,
some sort of adverse reaction, your genes can tell you why. Your genes can tell you which form of supplements would be best for you, or which order that you might need to do things in a protocol, or which, what stuff to avoid. Like, the example that I always use is, a lot of people take glutathione, but if you, or no, they take NAC. NAC was all the rage
I
since the
know.
whole pandemic. But NAC doesn't work for a percentage of the people, because their body is not able to take that cysteine and combine it with the other 2 amino acids to make glutathione. And so you're not really turning that NAC into glutathione like you think you are, if you have certain genetic variants. And so these are the kind of things I talk about. And in that case, doing something like liposomal glutathione or another form of glutathione would be better. But then again, there's always genes that could affect how well you're recycling your glutathione. And so it's really a lot to take into consideration. And it shouldn't just be left in a report, a canned response report for you to figure out. This is where I come in, and I do, I actually provide interpretation videos.